Good morning. Here I am, a little later than usual for my Sunday thought. Today, our clocks fell back. No, yeah, that's right. It went backwards. Fall. And fall used to go back, spring you spring ahead. Well, I forgot last night to set my clocks. So when I woke up, I went, oh, knowing that there was a tennis match to watch, there was a soccer match to watch, and then, of course, my Sunday thought. So I watched the tennis. I'm all geared to switch over to watch my soccer game. All of a sudden, I have to look at the clock on my computer and clocks went back last night. So I could go back to tennis for another hour before I could go had to switch to seeing the soccer game. But it made me think once more about time, how we see time, how we use time, how time affects us. I have a saying I have often used, which is time is my friend. And that came out of my very busy years when I was running a business, running a household, running kids, all those things. And sometimes it felt like there just wasn't enough time. And so I created for myself often little sayings that would help me through the time or the day or the whatever. And one was, time is my friend. And I have used it often when I'm feeling hurried, when I'm feeling I'm not sure what's going on, or I want something to happen and I'm not sure that it's going to happen. So, time is my friend is my go to thing. Now, time is very interesting because we know the clocks tick over second by second by second to create a minute, and then 60 minutes we have an hour. And in 24 hours, we move into a different day. So, how come sometimes time will seem faster or slower? I remember once being driving my car and I was going down to go into a ferry to cross over a river to go to the other side, and I was running a little late and it had been raining. Silly me, wasn't thinking. So I kind of ran down this wharf area to go into. They're just little ferry boats. They're not big boats or anything. They just take so many cars and they go to the other side and come back across the river. And all of a sudden I put my brakes on and my car started to slide. And it slid into the railing. Ended up, of course, not missing the boat because part of my car had hit the railing, and then they didn't wait, and so I had to back up. The car was slightly damaged, but what was interesting in those few seconds, every second felt this long. It was like I watched it all in slow motion. The car sliding, getting closer and closer and closer to that railing, and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to hit the railing. and and eventually did. And then of course time went back into its regular rhythm. And that was probably the first time I really got to sense that time can be manipulated or is manipulated in a way, or our perception of it. I'm sure that would be more accurate. Our perception of time can change. Now, there have been times when I notice of course, I'm talking about time. So there have been times when I have been running late. Now, one of the things we learn a little bit about working with the mind is that, and I found this has worked. If I make a decision that I am going to be at a certain place at a certain time and drive regularly, slowly, staying and not looking or thinking about the time, guess what? I will end up at that place at the right time. Impossible? Because I know how far I have to go. I know how long it would normally take, but it's like you've got to remove yourself from the sense of time. You remove your mind into quiet and you move into a knowing place. Now, knowing place creates really, really well. So it's like moving into that knowing place and knowing yes, I'm going to be there at the correct and proper time. And I have found if I may do that and start doing that, and then I get panicky because I know, oh my God, I'm 5 minutes missing somewhere in there. And so I will start looking at the clock. Once I start doing that, I lose that whole thing about where I am and where I'm doing and how it's going and all of those things. And so, consequently, what I want going to recommend is that you practice this because there are times when we want to manipulate time a little bit for us where we're running that. Now, I'm older now, so I don't go out as much. And right now, with, lots of limitations and things, but it's like if I have a meeting and I was running late, I definitely would be able to do that again because I know I must stay and you can't see it because it's really in the middle of your gut. You got to be down there in what I call the knowing place, not up here in your head. Your head's where you do all the thinking. You got to come down into your gut, which is a knowing place. And when you know something, it is because you're going to know it for 100%. You got to believe, you got to trust, you got to know that knowing place. And do you know what? That the majority of people do not live in that knowing place. They're running around or they're thinking, and how am I going to do it? And it's all up here in your head. And it's very, very important, I think, to be able to take a breath, move down, and know that whatever that time is that you need to be somewhere, that you can be there because it is the correct and proper time. Also, too, if you're waiting for a phone call, sometimes you're waiting for a phone call and they're supposed to phone, let's say 7, and the phone call doesn't come, it doesn't come. You get fidgety because what? And what happens again there, instead of staying calm, knowing that the phone call will come, you get edgy. And what happens, it feels like every minute is, I won't say an hour, but it'll be like a long time. And it may be that the call is 10 minutes late, but to you, it'll feel like it's half an hour. So time can be manipulated. Now, I could also go on into talking about past lives and other lives and how if you're evolved enough and you're further out, you can choose way back or way forward, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to say, for those of us in North America, our clocks have gone back. And we've now ended fall. I know this week I looked out on my little patio and there were all these big brown leaves and I went, fall has arrived. So we are now officially into fall. Well, it is November 7th after all. So it was, we're here. So I just want to have a wonderful Sunday, a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful month. And I'll be back on Wednesday. Blessings.